You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, first-timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Kohila Sivas. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. I'm a junkie. Yes, I like most kinds of bread. Lightly toasted, nice amount of butter on there. How can you go wrong? National Cinnamon Bread Day. I don't know, Josh went with all the food. He knows me very well. But I did notice today's also National Play-Doh Day. My grandson loves Play-Doh. Do your kids like Play-Doh, Josh? Yes or no? Okay, my grandson loves this Play-Doh. It's a little different than it used to be when I was a kid. Of course, when I was a kid, I think they just called it stones and we kind of carved them. But Play-Doh, I mean, it's not as sticky. It doesn't make as big a mess as it did when I was a kid. National Working Parents Day. Well, that's we got a lot of people working these days. Working Parents Day. So I wouldn't that be every day is National Working Parents Day? I mean, Josh, you juggle so many things going on. I was lucky. Maybe it was a choice. I worked. My wife stayed home and took care of the kids. But I see so many single parents, working parents that are juggling all of it. We have a tremendous processor. She and her husband both work, and they've got 4 kids. Now I know why they both work, is they've got 4 kids. National Guacamole Day. I like guacamole. I don't know if I like guacamole as much as I like the chips and all the other things you're dipping it in or putting it on flautas or on taquitos. So the question of the day, spicy or mild guac? Which is your favorite, spicy or mild? Or mild or spicy? Put it in the chat. And if you're listening to us live on the radio, AM 1490, FM 98.1, or any of our other affiliates, yell at the radio. We will hear you. But if you're listening to us live, just put it right there in the chat and tell us, do you like spicy or mild or spicy? I'm a mild kind of person. I'm not a big into spicy foods. I'm the unique one in my family. Most of my family likes the spicy stuff. I'm more for the mild stuff. Give me good flavor. I like spices, not spicy. But as you can tell, there's not a whole lot of food that I don't like. Yeah, maybe be a little bit of oversized. Let's move right along and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is now up 95.3. The S&P 500 is down 9.5. NASDAQ. Wow, the NASDAQ is down 143 points right now. Ow! Yeah, that's painful. Oil up $1.22 a barrel. Do we want to even look at what gas prices are doing? Okay, $4.77 right here in the formerly Golden State. Now, no matter what they want to tell you, because the media, they give you bum information. California is paying 28% in taxes and fees. They like to quote just taxes, but when they took away the ability of taxing without the people voting for it, they started calling it fees so they can get away with it. $4.77.5 is the cost of a gallon of gasoline. $4.61 in Hawaii. So we refine it here in California, put it on a boat, ship it to Hawaii, and they still pay less than we pay in California. $3.21 is the national average. Josh is over there at $4 a gallon, less the 50 cents because he's in a real city as opposed to out in the boondocks. So probably, what about 3.5, Scott, Josh? About 350. Okay, so 477 here. Nicole, our processor, 309 a gallon. And Danny, who is our loan partner, 342 a gallon in Colorado. So we're the winner, if you call that a winner, 477 a gallon. Let's see what's going on. I don't even want to talk about my fantasy football team. I don't even want to talk about the Rams. Josh, are you a Ram fan, or have you gone to the Raiders now that they've moved to Vegas? No, you haven't gone to either one of those? Okay. Broncos. No, wait. You grew up in Orange County. You went to college in Florida, and you're a Bronco and live in Vegas, and you went and became a Bronco fan. I don't know how that all works out. I mean, okay, Bronco fan. Did the Broncos win this weekend? No, they lost too. Okay, so clean sweep. We're nothing good in any of that stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a quiet couple of days. Today and tomorrow will be relatively quiet in the markets. All the fireworks are going to start around 11 o'clock or 11:30 California time on Wednesday. What are the fireworks? Well, the Federal Reserve is going to make their comments, and we're going to really see what's going on there. And, we're going to watch all this very closely because we are listening to the pandering from the politicians. Pandering from the politicians. Kamala Harris out there. It's a shame that she doesn't get a good economic advisor. So her latest thing, especially on housing, now housing, we know housing pretty well. The first family I helped get a loan was in 1983. Don't laugh, some of you, because I know you weren't born in 1983. But yes, I did help a family get a loan back in 1983. Been working on home finance and all kinds of finance ever since. But here's the deal. A $25,000 first-time home buyer's tax credit. Well, what is that? Does that mean the government's going to give $25,000 out? The government doesn't give anything out. They tax everybody and then hand out money to who they want to hand out money to. Not the way of doing it. More. Well, if you create more demand, let's go to economics 101. And I wish that the media, well, wait a second. I wish the commentators, because we don't have real news in America anymore. So I wish the commentators would explain to people. Economics 101. When you start giving out money, when you start giving out incentives, it's because you want more of it. So $25,000 first-time home buyer credit means you're trying to incentivize to get more people to buy houses. Well, we've got plenty of people wanting to buy houses right now. We've got a shortage of houses for sale because interest rates are too high. Why would somebody want to give up a 3 or a 4%, unless they're using the Home Select product? Why would somebody want to give up a 3 or 4% interest rate to go into a 5, 6, 7% interest rate? And it's called rate lock. So maybe the incentive, if they really wanted to help the housing market, there might be an incentive on helping sellers. But, the media doesn't call me, and we just do a little radio show here and talk to a few million people all the time. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to learn about education. I like that idea. There's some really good stuff in here that we're going to talk to Kohila about, if I can say her name properly. And about education and parenting, the best time to buy a home this year, what credit card users need to know if the Fed cuts rates this month. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit RonSiegelRadio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you could retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less? All without having to spend more each month than you spend right now. Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunity. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to figure out what your principal and interest payment is. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, RonIsMyLender.com. RonIsMyLender.com will give you one for free. Let's see. Conventional 30-year fixed down 6.096. Jumbo 30-year fixed up 6.488. FHA 30-year fixed down 5.929. VA 30-year fixed down 5.459. And the USDA 30-year fixed, that one was up 5.947. If you want our market commentary, we put that out each business day morning as early as the data allows. rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. You can get that commentary. We give it to you for free. We try and get the data out as early as we can. Sometimes the data comes out right as we're getting ready to go on air, so we have to delay a little bit. But we do get that out as early as possible. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Those were rates from Friday. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The S&P 500 is now down 11.5 points. The 10-year Treasury yield, the rate, is down 3 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities, the bond price, up 4 basis points, which really means that, or now it's up 7 basis points, which means when, again, bond price up, rate goes down. That's just the way it works. It's mathematics. So we know that the Federal Reserve is going to be the big news of this week. We also know a few other things that we're going to share with you as we prepare for the Fed's commentary. So the Fed hiked rates in this cycle to 5.25% and have been extremely restrictive on the economy in order to fight very high inflation. Fed is 100% going to cut rates on Wednesday. The big question, how much? Last week, the Fed futures market, which is like the market's betting line on what the Fed will do, is pricing in only a 15% chance of a 50 basis point cut. 50 basis points means 0.5%. There's been a change of heart, however, with the market now pricing in 65% chance of 0.5%. What changed? Well, Nick Timiraos, Wall Street Journal writer, and is someone who is viewed as the quote-unquote Fed mole. Historically, the Federal Reserve has had someone like this who preps the markets for what the Fed is about to do because they don't want to take the markets by surprise. Timiraos has accurately let the markets know what the Fed is going to do several times over the last few years. In his latest piece, The Fed's Rate Cut Dilemma, Start Big or Small, Timiraos outlined the close call argument for both a 25 basis point and a 50 basis point cut. While he did not come out right and say what he felt the Fed was going to do, he ended his article quoting former Vice Fed Chair Donald Cohn, who said, quote, "We're at a point where you might say, I could go either way, 25 or 50, but I think the risk management has shifted to the labor market and favors doing 50, unquote. It appears the markets are reading between the lines and interpreting this as the Fed mole trying to prep the markets for a 50 basis point cut. Very important to understand that the size of the cut is important, but so is the Fed's tone in their statement. Jerome Powell's press conference and a summary of economic projections. Powell and the Fed can temper or enhance their rate cut decision and can significantly impact the markets with their guidance. Later today, we're going to hear from Fed Vice Chair former Fed Vice Chair Lael Brainerd, who is now the Director of National Economic Council. Since she now works for the White House, her commentary may be taken with a grain of salt, but her prepared remarks were released and highlights that we have reached a milestone in the fight against inflation. Her speech says that the economy has reached an important turning point where the inflation surge of the past 3 years has largely ended. She went on to say that it's important to safeguard the important labor market progress we have made, and she took a victory lap. Quote, "Many were convinced that the combination of a large decline in inflation with a sustained expansion that we are seeing today couldn't happen. The fact that comparable countries experienced the same surge in inflation while the recovery was stronger in the U.S. suggests that government policy differences mattered," unquote. Her comments lead toward a 50 basis point cut as well, even though she is no longer part of the Fed. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be the big issues this week with the Federal Reserve. And, again, we're going to see what they have to say. And that'll be coming out again, as I mentioned to you. We're going to see that report on Wednesday. They'll announce the amount at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And they're going to talk about the thoughts starting at 11:30. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Today on Ron Siegel Radio, we are thrilled to be joined by the dynamic Kohila Sivas, a visionary in education and coaching with over 2 decades of experience. Kohila has redefined the way we approach parenting, learning, and personal growth. She's here to talk about the difference between proactive and reactive parenting and how you can create a more successful and harmonious family life. So, good morning, Kohila. How are you this morning?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. So what is, first, I guess we could start off by defining what is proactive and what is reactive parenting?
Proactive is what we don't do as parents, because we're always guarding and guiding our children in a way that we don't allow them to make a mistake, right? We want to protect them. So it comes from us wanting to protect them. We start reacting to what's happening to them. When I say proactive, it's already, we know it's going to happen. Something is going to happen with our children, and we wait for them to act and see what they're doing, so we can pre-plan and set a stage for our children as well, right? So it's actually, I've already, like, for example, it's better if I give an example. For example, my son is going to go to university next year, or college, because he's in grade 12. So as a reactive parent, I could be with him today, looking at all the places he has to go and doing all the work for him and doing all the action for him. Instead, I'm staying back, and I'm guiding him to choose, where do you want to go? What would you like to do? Right? We give them that space, them to explore their decisions and their actions. Whereas an active parents or reactive parents is all over the child and they're doing it for them. We don't allow the child to make decisions. We don't allow them to make mistakes. So that's what I mean by the difference between reactive and proactive, is a parent who allows their children to make mistakes.
So the reactive allows them to make mistakes, or the proactive allows them?
The proactive allows, because we're not doing it for them. We're not doing it with them. We're a guide on the side.
Okay, so I'm glad you clarified, because I would have thought that the proactive is the one that's saying, trying to teach them ahead of time. You don't want to touch the fire because it's hot. And reactive is, you just burned yourself. I told you don't do that.
There is a part of already preparing your child to front loading them, but we don't want to front load them so they don't experience life as it's supposed to be, right? I can't front load, or I can't proactively involve in my child's life when they're adults, right? So we need to allow a space for them to explore on their own.
Okay, interesting. So you're allowing them to make mistakes, and then are you? So what are you doing once they've made the mistake? Do you let them figure out how to solve it themselves, or are you kind of going in and guiding?
We will guide them. That's what parents' job is, to guide them. So we don't fix it. We will guide them, for sure.
Okay, don't fix it. Okay, just let them fix it themselves, but give them the tools to do it. Yes.
The ultimate duty of a parent is to make their children independent as possible. Not dependent. Not dependent, right?
So how did you get involved in all this?
I have children myself. I've been with other people's children, over 1,600 plus students, which are my children in a way, with them, caring for them, taking care of their education side. So I've been involved in the education for so long that I've just worked with so many families.
Yeah, that's an interesting scenario, because my wife and I have talked about that, and we haven't worked with 1,600. We've only dealt with 3, so we're a little ways behind you. But you learn an awful lot as being a parent, and there's really not I don't know. There's a million books out there, but you're always looking and saying, okay, what's the right one? Where do we get the right information to try and guide the kids? How do you coach, or do you coach people on this, or what is your process?
Yeah, I do have programs for parents. I just launched a book in February called Cracking the Parenting Codes.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm seeing right now in our society is that parents are not parenting anymore. Many families are not parenting their kids. There is a whole movement of being a gentle parent. Positive parenting is the new movement right now. So what that does is we're not giving our children anything to ground themselves. We're not giving them a structure. A lot of parents are leaving it up to the child. That is a disaster for the child because the children need structure. They need grounding, right? They need that from their caretakers or who love them. Gentle parenting is good. It's it's great, but there has to be a balance between it. So that's why I launched the book Cracking the Parenting Code, to help bring back the fundamentals of parenting back into some of the parents' life and these families, because they are struggling, and it shows up great deal in the school environment when these children come to school, and teachers can deal with all of it as well. So that we have a big problem that's surfacing for a while now. So we need to really educate parents, we really educate the teachers and help them and go back to the fundamentals.
That's an interesting concept, going back to the fundamentals. I want to talk to you about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We'll also talk about the best time to buy a home this year and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com, the best time to buy a home this year. A shift is underway in the housing market this season. And if you've been sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right moment to jump back into your home buying search, this is a great time to do it. That's because the best week to buy a home this year is just around the corner. Your sweet spot is here. The experts at Realtor.com study seasonal trends to figure out the ideal week for home buyers. Quote, nationally, the best time to buy in 2024 is the week of September 29th through October 5th. This week historically has shown the best balance of market conditions that favor buyers. Inventory tends to be high, prices are below peak levels, demand is wearing, and the pace of the market slows to a more manageable speed, unquote. In addition to the historical trends and typical seasonality that Realtor.com looks at, there are also clear indicators in today's market that you'll see better conditions right now than you would have over the last few years. Mortgage rates just hit their lowest level in 19 months, and that goes a long way to help with your purchasing power and affordability. Andy Walden with Intercontinental Exchange Inc., ICE, points out, quote, recent easing in mortgage rates brought some much-sought relief to prospective home buyers, along with general cooling and home price growth. Rates falling below 6.5% made August the most affordable month for housing since February, unquote. And Ralph McLaughlin, senior economist at Realtor.com, explains that it's not just rates that have improved. Inventory has too. Quote, the number of homes actively for sale continues to be elevated compared with last year, growing by 35.8%, a 10th straight month of growth, and now sits at the highest since May 2020, unquote. That should give you more options. At the same time, sellers now have to compete with each other for your attention. That means they'll be more likely to negotiate because they know their house will sit on the market longer if they don't. As Zillow says, quote, buyers waiting on the sidelines could find that early fall presents a quote-unquote sweet spot where there's less competition from other buyers, more motivated sellers, and lower interest rates to finance their purchases, unquote. Bottom line, if you want to make sure you're ready to take advantage of the sweet spot, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We can chat about financing. We can chat about your real estate, what your needs and wants are. Find you a great real estate agent. Again, it's just one phone call, 800-306-1990. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation this morning, Kohila Sivas is with us. We're chatting about raising kids and structure and 16. You know, it's funny that a comment you made in the last segment, Kohila, is, you know, many of us have experience, especially if you're old like me, but you've got some experience in kids. I've got experience with 3. I've watched family and friends and the different things that they've done. But when you start getting to a study size that you just mentioned, 1,600, that's a whole different stratosphere where you've had the opportunity of seeing what works, what doesn't work. And I know when I was growing up, we didn't have gentle parenting. I think the difference between gentle parenting and everything else was, if I got the wrong look from my mom, that was gentle parenting. And structure meant my dad came in and I got a few swats to reinforce mom's look.
Mhm.
Are you do you believe that is the structure, the giving not hurting, but a timely swats, is that beneficial? Does that do anything, or am I just old?
The structure I meant is not, I grew up in a family where, hitting was okay, right? Those time. I'm not saying those strict, forceful way of parenting is the right way to do it. I meant when I said structure is setting a boundary for our children to, explore the world so that they actually know that boundary, and you don't need to be there to tell them all the time that, you're not supposed to do that, or I'm going to hit you if you do that. That was the old way of parenting, right? For me, the new way of parenting is still implementing a boundary for them, because if I don't have a boundary, I'm not sure yet, because I'm still a young person. I don't know this world. So my parents will know what's the safe boundary for me to explore. That's what I mean. So that's the grounding I'm talking about. That's the structure I'm talking about. And that's the way to be proactive with your children, is to draw those boundaries so our children can explore it without fear.
So is there any consequences for violating the boundary?
That would be something that the parents could have conversation with the child if they do pass that boundary. Like, for example, a lot of these parents on social media right now is saying that I can't get my child to be off of their phone, and they're not doing any work. They're 24/7 on. This is the extreme cases, right? They're on their phone and devices. How do I do it? I don't have any control. I don't have any way of getting them off. So now that is a boundary that was never discussed, right? We give these tools to our kids and we just leave them. We should set up a boundary. What is your boundary? So for my son, the boundary is that after this hour, you're not supposed to touch this device, because that's a tool that needs to be turned off. It's a tool that I don't like to be in your bedroom, because I don't know who can come and visit you in your bedroom on your phone, because I trust you, but I don't trust the phone. So these are boundaries I'm setting up, so I don't need to be on top of him all the time going, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you at? I don't need to nag him. He knows the boundaries. If he goes off of it, he knows that tool is mine. It's not his, because I bought it.
Okay. So from my world or my perspective, the consequence is if he violates your boundary, the device might disappear from his possession.
Yeah, and that's due to safety, right? All of it comes down to us building our children up to be the adult. They can exist in this world and they can function normally. If we're not giving those boundaries, they're going to be, now we have household of kids that are on the phone, on the device, on the console playing, and the parents don't even know how to get them off. They're like, get away from me, don't talk to me. Now they lost all control. Now how do we correct that?
Well, one of the things that you and I are talking about right now is, I guess, a issue of the fortunate. Right? There's a lot of less fortunate people out there that listen to radio and listen to us on our broadcasts. Their kids, they don't have the wherewithal for their kids to have the phones and the iPads and all that. Do you use the same issues for the affluent and the non-affluent alike?
Yeah, all children need boundaries set by adults. Actually, they enjoy the boundaries because they don't know what's safe for them, right? And if we leave them all to you figure it out, I'm not going to set any boundaries. Now, they don't know how far they should go to explore it. But having that gives them that also the feeling that I love you, I care about you. The boundary is set because I love you.
That's an interesting concept, because a lot of people think that by being a pacifist, that the child is going to feel the love, as opposed to my belief is, and I think so others, is that the kids do want a boundary. They appreciate the fact that they don't get to do everything that they want to do, that there's some guidance in there.
They love it. They love, and that's what grounds them. It grounds them so much that they don't have to take this whole world at one time. Like there's a structure, there's a, step by step, we take the baby step to explore the world, right? So they love it. That's
And
what they're missing.
that's to me, that's a very important part that's missed a lot right now, is the idea that, I mean, there's so many areas that in our world, people are believing that the kids are able to consume everything all at one shot, instead of giving them, bite-sized pieces that you just mentioned.
Yeah, very important. That's also a structure that a parent proactively should design.
How did you get into all this, Kohila?
I'm a suicide survivor, so I did have a bad childhood in terms of my dad was alcoholic. So I knew that that's not how I wanted to parent. After surviving the suicide attempt, I fell in love with math. It became a therapy for me. So I really cracked the codes of math. So I can teach math to anybody. People come to me, they say, my child cannot learn math ever again because some people told them that. I say, no, you can learn math, because I was never good at anything either. But there's a way to learn, right? We don't teach our students how to learn. We just tell everyone what to learn. Like the education system is designed to show people what to learn. But there's a way that I learn, and there's a way that you learn. There's a way that every child learn. For me, that is the code that I look for. How do you learn? I'm always curious about, with every child, how do you learn? And from there, we build a program. Now I have expanded into not just working with math and learning to learn, but now I train other teachers and educators in my methodology. I have a methodology that teaches teachers how to really be curious about how a child learns. And this looks beyond all labels. We don't care what you're identified as. You have ADHD, you have autism, you have learning disability. My method doesn't look at any of that. I just look at the child and go, how do you learn? And
now, do I have to be an expert in reading the child in order to become a teacher of this process, or does your courses help me to figure out, in my case, it would be like my grandkids. Do I have to, how would I know what's their methodology? I mean, I know that I don't learn from reading because I'm a poor reader. I learn from listening. You say something, I hear it, I take it in. I'm a audio and visual learner.
Yeah. It goes beyond that, because we all have our own mind print. Our the way our brain is wired and how we work. We look at that. So it is a training. What I have developed is a neurological training. We work at the neurological level to rewire the neurological path. So it's a permanent results and a transformation. So that's what the coaches and teachers that go through my program get certified as. After that, they get to work with the families, delivering whatever support they need. It could be parenting support, it could be subject-based support, or it could be their IEP, right? Which is the every child gets one if they are labeled with some sort of learning disability. But unfortunately, those never get met at the school system. They're done, get the funding, but as much as possible, it doesn't get implemented with the child. Very little gets implemented. The child still needs help, and the help is, how do you learn is the biggest help anyone can do, is be curious about that child. Because when we put labels, we tend to just follow what the label says. And under the label, now you're going to do this. For me, it never worked like that. For me, it's always like, how do you learn?
That's a whole different process, because in the schools, you really can't do that in a school. And if you got a class of 25, how do you deal with every individual? But I want to talk more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. Not sure if we're going to get to our Your Credit Matters segment today, because I'm fascinated by our conversation with Kohila Sivas, talking today about education, educating young people, raising young people. They're our future. You can reach me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporate.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by RSRHomeselect.com, RSRHomeselect.com. If you're tired of having a mortgage, well, the Home Select product will get you out of your mortgage, get it paid off without having to make extra payments. It is a process. It's the way of paying your mortgage that works. We can share it with you. All the details right there, RSRHomeselect.com, RSRHomeselect.com. Again, borrow smart, repay smart. That's our thought process here at Ron Siegel Radio. Continue our conversation with Kohila Sivas. We're talking about learning, educating our young folks. So, Kohila, what is mind soil cultivation? Explain that one to me. I'm not sure. Mind soil cultivation.
Clear. We have become, we stopped being curious about how someone learns. Because we're in the school system, we go through a pre-designed model that we have to all mold through, right? At the end of the day, we all have to function the similar way. But we're not though. We're so different. All of us are so different. How can we mold into the same people at the end of the day, right? So this is why the education system's not working for so long for many of us. So the mind soil cultivation, I look at it as we're sending messages to these students. We're sending information to these students, but the students are not ready to receive them. Right now, the school system is in such a mess. They're just basically taking care of behaviors of students and managing the behaviors right now. There's not very little learning that's happening in classrooms. Why? Because the mind soil of those students are not ready. And we don't even care about it. We keep sending information. The kids are saying, I don't want this information. I don't know why you're sending these information to me. Why should I learn these? And we just say it's the curriculum, you have to learn it. That's not an answer. That's just doesn't, these days kids are so smart than we think. So what I do with my students is I don't begin by sending information to them. We get curious about how do you learn. We want to figure out their mind print first. So what I think of that as cultivating the soil. So if a farmer wants to plant something, he doesn't just go onto any land and start planting and thinks that he's going to harvest, right? He's got to prepare the soil first. The soil preparation is first. Then you can plant the seeds. Then you can expect a full harvest. Same way with students, we need to take care of their mind first before we can expect them to learn anything. So there's no point in sending information, pushing them to learn, telling them it's the curriculum, you have to learn it, otherwise, you're in trouble. None of this is going to work. You have to prepare their mind soil. So that's part of our process is how do we prepare this mind soil? We take care of that. And then when the child prepares their mind, they're ready to receive, they learn it on their own. They're intrinsically motivated. They want to learn. No one is forcing or pushing information at them. They know why they're learning. They know how to learn. They want to learn. So this is what's missing in our education system. And that's why I left the education system 12 years ago and I created the methodology and the way. And now we have over 300 plus teachers and educators trained under our methodology to serve these students.
So how does a teacher and educators deal with this when they're working? Because they've got the students for most of the time all they have is a student for a year.
Yep.
So how are you helping? I guess you almost have to do it either from a whole school standpoint or from a process or homeschooling. How are you dealing with getting teachers educated in this?
Yeah, good question. So at the moment, the methodology and how these 300 plus educators are helping is they're implementing it as much as possible in the classroom. Also, they're starting their own business to serve them from the outside. So we serve from the outside. Sometimes, in a system like the education system, which is so developed and so advanced and so many stakeholders' opinions matters, you can't just take something and implement it right away. It takes time. So we decided to fix the education from the outside. It hasn't fully gone inside the classrooms yet because I don't think it's ready yet. It's going through its turbulence right now. So that's why we help from the external, and we have been helping hundreds of families now. We want to help millions of families. That's my mission. In that time, we're also helping the parents and families who need the help. We have free coaching for parents and students. They can come and through our pay it forward program, right? So we actually are doing for, you were asking about what about the parents who don't have money, how do they get this help? We have free service for that as well. So to find all of that, they can just go to kohilasivas.com and they can just click, there's a link there for the parents to sign up, and all they need to do is sign up and we'll provide them with free coaching and exactly this coaching and the powerful method that we created. So to answer your question, we're not in the school system 100%. Some teachers are using it in the classrooms, but many are just doing it from the outside on their own.
Interesting. It's fascinating. So we took, I don't think we put that website on there. Josh, put up this site that we have that we set up a link, rsrlinks.com/learning, rsrlinks.com/learning. And that goes to, I think, a different site of yours, Kohila.
Yeah, Learning Success Academy.
Okay, and that's different than kohilasivas.com, right?
Yeah, I created one for today and for events that I'm attending, because basically this link has all of the things that we offer. So there's a magazine that we are launching October 15th for parents. So they can get that for free by signing up. They can sign up for this coaching if you're a parent who's in need and you want support for your children. We have that for free. And then if you want, for profit, we have coaching as well for parents looking for that. So I just put all of it in one place. That's what this is.
Beautiful. Okay, so rsrlinks.com/learning. You can get all of that information from Kohila. We're going to obviously have all of the information right here at our station as well. And Kohila, we didn't get to half the stuff we wanted to talk about. So
Yes.
hopefully we can get you to come back in again and chat with us. Because we've had a couple of different organizations come on that are very simpatico with what you're doing. As you probably heard in some of our commercials, we are working with First Home IQ because we know that a lot of young people don't have any clue about mortgages and buying a house, and we want to educate there. Maybe we're not even educating them the right way, but we're trying. And another organization, protectourkidsnow.com, is another one that we've had come on to try and help the kids get educated as opposed to indoctrinated, which we see so much in the schools right now. But I hope you'll come back on and continue our conversation in the future, and let us try and do what we can to help you in your mission, because it sounds to me like you're doing some great things and trying to help educate young people, educate parents, because there's so many books out there, and there's in my opinion, a lot of them are giving people the wrong information about educating their kids and guiding their kids. And we need more people like you out there trying to make a difference. So really appreciate you coming in. Again, rsrlinks.com/learning will get you to Kohila. And you can call us again at the show at ron@ronsiegelradio.com. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Trouble that can be named.